In this video, we are going to add bones to our object, our mesh, so that we can animate it and then we can actually pose it so then it can bend, deform, and we can do lots of awesome stuff with it. So we have this. In the last video, we added some materials to this to look even better. Now, first things first, we're gonna select this, and then my 3D cursor is at the center of the world origin. So if it's your 3D cursor like over here, then do Shift S, cursor to world origin, cursor to selected. Any of them would work. Now we have our cursor to this. You know that wherever our cursor is, that is where our object will land when we add it to our scene. So we're going to go into our front orthographic view, so numpad 1, and we're going to do Shift A and add in armature single bone. Now you'll notice that I have a Rigify Meta Rig 1 option as well. Now that is when, if you go into edit preferences, if you enable the Rigify add-on, so you guys go for add-ons, and if you enable the Rigify add-on, that is when you will get your option. But we're not going to be using that in this video, so we're going to be using a single bone. This is because the Rigify Meta Rigs only has some humans, animals, and basic, and the basic is basic human or basic quadruped. But we are animating, we are adding bones to our mushroom, which is nowhere near a human, so that's why we're just going to do Shift A and add it in a single bone. Now when we add the bone, you're not going to actually see anything. That is because it's actually inside our mesh, so the bone is actually inside the mesh, and we cannot see through the mesh. So what we're going to do over here, you'll notice that we have 3 extra property panels over here: data, bone, and bone constraints. In the armature, this man over here running, we are going to go over here into viewport display and enable in front. So now we can see it through the mesh. The next thing we are going to do is that we're going to rename our armature to the mushroom bones. So let's say mushroom and then underscore bone. As you can see, it will rename it there. So now we have done that, we can now extrude and add extra bones to this. So let's go into the edit mode, so tab to go into edit mode. And then we're going to quickly grab the top tip. Now if you grab it like this, then it's going to move the whole bone. We do not want that. We're just going to select the top one over here, and then grab it and move it over here so that we don't move this bottom root over there. So we're going to move it somewhere over here. Something like that. As you can see, like a bend, it's a curvature over here. So we're going to keep it something like this. And then we're going to add in another bone. E to extrude out another bone. Okay, E to extrude out another bone. Then quickly place it something looking like that. We're going to make it very, very basic. Only 2 bones should be enough. Okay, something like this. Now, if you wanted to make it more bendy, we can actually just add in 3 bones instead. So if we wanted to make it a bit more bendy, something like this, then that should work as well. Okay, I'll keep it like this one. I like this one. And then 3 bones. There's more control with it. So now we've done that, we are now going to add a bone for the top, for this red part over here. So let's just do E to extrude it out, and then it's going to control the top part. So then we're going to move up to the bottom bone a little bit up, and then we can look from the front view and the side view, see everything is aligned and looking very, very good. The next thing we're going to do is to keep everything neat. We can actually rename our bones. So let's select this bone over here and go into the bone properties, and this first bone we're going to rename it the root, because this root bone controls, is a parent of all the other 4 bones or 3 bones over here. So if you move this bone, it's going to move every single other bone, because that is the parent bone, because that's what we started with. Now this is going to be our, let's say, a spine, whatever you want to name. I don't know what to name this because I don't know the body parts of a mushroom. Let's say the spine, and then we're going to name this the head, and then we're going to name this one the red part. You can name whatever you want, it doesn't matter. You don't need to add .l or .r, because there's no we don't have to symmetrize it, because it's not it mirrored. Okay, so now we have done that. What we can now do is parent our armature to our mesh. Okay, so then if we go into pose mode right now, that's when we can move our bones. As you can see, it's not deforming our bone because we have to bind this armature to our mesh. But as you can see, this is our root bone. If you move this, it's going to move everything else because that is the root bone. Now, right now, this is forward kinematics. So basically what that means, FK means forward kinematics. What it means is every single bone in front of that specific bone will move. For example, this bone over here is forward kinematic because if we move this, every single bone in front of it is going to move as well with it. For example, this one over here, if you move this one, the other two bones in front of it will also move with it. And as you can see, it's just like that, forward kinematics. Now, we're not going to add inverse kinematics to it, but if you want to know how to add inverse kinematics, I have a tutorial in the description and you can look at it. So now what we're going to do is parent our armature to our mesh. So let's shift select every single thing in our mesh, especially the eyes, and then shift select the armature last. Remember that's last. And then we're going to do Control P. When you do that, if you do not get your weights option over here or the bone option, it's because you haven't selected your armature last. So let's do Control P, and we're gonna we are going to do it with automatic weights. Set parent with automatic weights. So we're gonna select that, and then once we have done that, it's basically parented. Now, as you can see, when we actually deform it, it's not gonna deform very good. So if we go into pose mode, let me quickly deselect everything. So let's go here, and then we're going to go into pose mode. So Control Tab. Now, if we actually just quickly deform this, the root bone is always deforming properly. Then, as you can see, it's not deforming like I want to. It's because, as you can see, if we move this, it's not deforming like I wanted to. So to fix this, we're now actually going to weight paint it. In the next video, we're going to weight paint it. So then our bones have a specific area they're going to deform. Now I'm going to show you a full tutorial on that in our next video. So I'll see you guys there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and have a nice evening.